Okay, so welcome to our Monday, March 15th Girl Gang call. Can't believe it's already the middle of March. I don't even know where the days go anymore, honestly. It's insane. So my name is Tracy Donald, and I am an Artist 7 in Ontario. And tonight I get the privilege of leading the call and co-hosting with Miss Desiree. So we're going to start off with something that we'd love to do, and that is to welcome our brand new artists. So, these are people since our last call that decided to come on board and join us here at Saint. And we are so excited to not only have them in Saint, but also to have them on our team. So we've got Julia Thompson, Megan Johnson, Carly Taylor, Depreet Tierra, Angela McDonald, Lauren Murphy, Connie Melnerchuk, Patricia Smith, Lonnie Holmes, Kelly Porter, Kimberly Matthews, and Sarah Bobian. So welcome to all of you. You've got lots of good stuff coming at you, and you're probably going to start to feel just a little tiny bit overwhelmed because it's like, woof. But trust me when we say, just one day at a time. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? So welcome. Okay, so we're gonna get right into it. Miss Desiree is our trainer this evening, and she's got some good stuff planned for you guys. And so I am going to pass it on over to our fearless leader, Desiree, all the way in sunny Edmonton. It's dark here now, and she's still got the sun shining, which is lovely. And so take it away, Miss Desiree.
Thank you, Tracy. So awesome to see so many of you. And I don't know where everybody is, but yeah, this whole time change is messing with me because it feels like the longest day. It feels like it should be like midnight by now. I feel like I've been up for hours and hours, but thank you for popping in tonight and taking some time for your business. We're going to keep tonight a little more casual. I want to keep it like a conversation. I want to go over stuff. We had a Active by the 10th call last night. So if you're new to us, we've been doing some challenges for some exclusive training of being active by the 10th. And this conversation came up about, we trained last night, Melanie trained on bookings. And I was going to train something else tonight. And to be completely honest, I've been in this industry for 21 years, and I am a firm believer of mastery. I believe you pick one topic and you master it deep, and then you analyze the heck out of it, and you keep going in this fashion. Because if you decide that you're going to go after everything all at once, it's hard to succeed. It's really hard to just be perfect and have the time to go after and analyze and reflect on what we're doing. So I'm going to talk about, Tracy, I'm going to stop messing with the participants and let you, because I'm distracted.
You're good.
So I'm going to talk to you about a class. Okay, so where do we start when we have a class? First off, let's talk tools. We have several tools, and if you have never heard me say these words before, they're very fond words of mine. They are Google Drive. We have a Girl Gang Google Drive, and in this Girl Gang Google Drive is a plethora of tools and knowledge right at your fingertips that you might not even actually know is there. So in there and in our guides, they call it now in the Facebook team page, you will see tools. We have a Bizly tool. Okay, if you're not using Bizly for your classes, you must learn this thing. We have tested it. We have a document explaining it, how to break it down to do it. I had one of my business partners who will tell you she is the most technology challenged person on the planet, and she mastered it. Okay, so it is a great tool. Bizly is this magical time saver that is going to pre-post for you. Now, your leader has a Bizly template, okay? And I'm going to say this loosely. It's a template. You want to personalize this. This is something you want to make your own. And why we've always said, yes, you want to stay out of Facebook jail, number one, but two, don't you want it to reflect you? Don't you want it to reflect your personality so it matches kind of how you're about to speak as you're in this class? Not like, wow, that's totally not what I expected when you start to get on and do your lives. So personalize this template, go through it and see, how can I do this? We also have hostess coaching checklists and tools, scripts, all sorts of information in there. So spend some time diving through that. Now I'm going to take a little bit further and go through. Let's say, okay, because we have questions at the end. Let's say you're saying to yourself, oh my gosh, I'm just not very happy with my classes and what's going on. This is where my brain gets very excited and says, what do we analyze? If I'm not getting engagement on my welcome, what do I need to change? Should it be this static post? Should I change it to a recorded video? Should I consider changing it? Did I pop into a live? Try changing it. Try changing it into something and track your results as far as, are people engaging in that more? Are they participating more? And start to do this with your posts all the way through. Maybe you're noticing some are getting no traction whatsoever. This is where you want to start to kind of dive deep and go through each of your posts to say, how could I maximize this? How could I make it and take it a little step further? Okay. So that's one of the things that I wanted to chat about, is just having some of that reflection on those templates. Okay. And personalizing it to make your own. The other thing I wanted to chat about tonight is keeping yourself accountable. Okay. And I was just listening to, and I don't even know how to say his name. What's his name, Trace?
Bob Heilig.
Heilig. Okay. If you haven't started listening to him, I recommend listening to his podcasts. I was just on the treadmill because I didn't work out today. So I was listening to some of his stuff, and listening to some of his stuff brought this up to me. And, you know, it's like, give yourself a little bit of tough love. Okay. What am I doing? Am I just going through the motions of setting these classes up and fingers crossed that they're going to be super successful and that my host is going to do all the right things? So when you're starting to work with your hosts, do you have a checklist that you've made? Because this business is about your business and taking initiative of, how many times am I taking that accountability back and saying, when do I check with my host? Am I checking with her? Am I just sending her those two little host tools in the pictures? Am I just sending her those hostess coaching tips? I'm working for the best, crossing my fingers that it's going to be a great show. Or are you tracking, what am I saying to the host? Do you have a little script in your notes so you can fire that off to her? What is working in that script that you're firing off? Okay. How many days before the class am I doing that? What are the steps that you're getting your host to do? Does that make sense? So are you getting your host just to mass add people? Or do you have it descriptive enough that you are saying, this is what I highly recommend. My most successful classes is when my host takes her before and after picture and puts it on her public profile and says how excited she is. And when my host decides that she wants to personally message everybody to get them into the event, what are your results off of that? So I highly recommend starting yourself like a little checklist to keep yourself accountable for these little steps as you're going. So getting that host engaged in the show, how many times are you reaching out to her before the show? How many times are you reaching out to her during the show? And what are you coaching her to have the most success to get those guests engaged? Okay. And then what are you doing afterwards? Once the live is happened, how are you getting her to follow up with those guests after? Because it's not just about loading the Bizly code. It's not just about getting her to add the guests. And it's not just about popping in 3 minutes into your office and being like, boom, class time, and then shutting your door and expecting the emails just to like, yay, happy mail, or whatever the heck that says from Saints, right? So InstaJoy or something like that. So what are all of the little steps? And you guys, this is something that, you know, we can continue to give people like, hey, try this or try that, or here's your template and everything. But I highly challenge you to I think we lost Tracy. I highly challenge you to start tracking and give yourself a checklist. This is what I've always done in my business, starting way back to the days of carrying heavy Princess House suitcases, was what worked the best? Did it work, when I had my host hand out invitations? Did it work when I had her do reminder calls? Did it work when I had her do text messages? Start going through those motions for yourself to see and creating that little bit of a checklist. Okay. Oh, I think that was a dog. So keeping yourself accountable on all of that will also help you sort of tweak through. Now, some of you were asking me yesterday on the call, I think it was Alicia Gadel, I'm not sure if she's on here, is how do you track your customers? Okay, so here I'm going to share with you tonight my system. You can do your system. It doesn't really matter so long as you have some sort of system. I'm old school. In the sense that I like paper because I like to see what it is. Okay. So for myself, when I get my color matches up and they're posted or they're in my email, what I do is I have a piece of paper that I have made an Excel spreadsheet and they look something like they did 20 years ago, where I have the person's name. Did I color match them off my job form? Were they interested in the business? Were they interested in hosting their own class? Have they ordered? And did I add them to my email campaign as a follow-up afterwards? So when I get Leanne King's color match, I write her name in there. I write in shorthand what I matched her at, what she said on that job form, when she ordered, and then yes, I added her to my email campaign. Why do I like it this way? Because when Melanie asked me yesterday my stats, I could pull these for the last 10 shows and be like, boom, I know exactly where I'm at. I know exactly how many orders I'm getting. I know exactly what the or average order is. I know how many bookings I'm getting. And if somebody was to call me like Leanne and be like, I'm not sure about my colors, I don't have to go dig and find that email as to what I sent her and rematch her. I can quickly grab this and be like, okay, what are you thinking is off about Amber? Tell me about that. So this is my system on how I like it. You can have it in an Excel spreadsheet. You can have a notebook, whatever you want, but you need some sort of system to track your people. I'll show you what I was doing before this, and it looked something like this. And then I was like, oh, I wonder where the heck I put Leanne's password, and I couldn't find a dang thing. So for me, I went back to my old school ways. You can do whatever the heck you want as far as it, but having some sort of system is what's going to help you. And then I can go back to be like, okay, so-and-so won a prize, because I write next to them. I follow up with them to make sure they got their prize. Are they liking it? This is a foundation for me to continually be able to do follow-up, okay? So that is one thing I wanted to share, and maybe somebody else has a different system they want to share. We can ask Trace after. Candace has a folder in her Google Drive. Cool, whatever you want to do. I decided that I was doing this one just because it's what I know and is what I'm used to. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about some tips that we can do. So some of the things that have been working, some different things. And so here's the beauty. I'll tell you right now, technology is a gift right now to us because we are able to try stuff and see how it works. And then we're able to tell you. Back when I started this business, I would have to wait 4 weeks till there was a meeting and then somebody would share, or they'd share it like a quarterly event. So that's what's nice about this, is that we're always able to sort of tweak and share. So some things that I've tried as of late, and these have come, you guys, of just to have conversations. So just having conversations with business partners, whether it be uplines, sidelines, people on my team, having a conversation and saying, hey, what's working for you? So as I was chatting with one of the girls, Trace, was this conversation, we were talking about, okay, how do we keep tweaking? Because like we said earlier, the Visly isn't just set in stone and you leave it forever. It should be something that's constantly evolving. So we decided that we were going to tweak it to change it to be shorter in the start, because we wanted to be able to book people in tighter. So it was tweaked. Trace tweaked it so we could kind of move people in a lot closer. So I could book you on a Sunday and do your class on a Wednesday if you were super eager. I didn't have to wait lots of days for the post to run. The other thing when we started analyzing it is like, okay, how do we get people super engaged? Because they kind of see all these posts start to come up, and then when are they getting engaged? I was finding people weren't getting color matched until after the live. Okay, maybe some of you are having that right now. So one of the things that we did was I started, so when you go into an event and it says members on the right-hand side, it allows you to write a welcome post. So welcome new members. So if you go in there and you're going to welcome your new members, I originally was just like, hey, welcome everybody to the group. Feel free to cruise through the posts and comment to get entered into our prize. And our live is blah, blah time, date and time. Okay, so that was trial one. Worked better because everybody got tagged and kind of a little bit of notice. So Trace took it one step further and said, Des, I tried it. And not only did I welcome everybody, put the time of the live, but I put the color match back in there. And I was like, oh, well, that's super brilliant because now they're getting the color match twice, right? They're getting it in that show post and then they're getting it in the welcome with the link to the job form. So I was like, ooh, fun. I'm going to try that on my next class. So I went and tried it on the last class that I just did last week. And I added one more little thing. And I added, here's, welcome to all these people. And I added the time of the live. I added the color match to it. And then I said, anybody that gets me their color match before I start my live is going in for a prize. And I will do the prize on that live. I had 9 color matches come in before I started my live. That was a first, you guys. That was huge because I was working with all of these ladies that already knew their colors. They sort of knew a little bit of what I was chatting about because they had seen it. And it really sped up how fast they were starting to order. So that was the tiniest little tweak that made for me a huge impact on my overall show. And this is what I mean by tweaking, okay? It's just looking at something and saying, what can I do to get a completely different result? Or how do I get this sped up to serve me, the results that I'm looking for quicker so I can get my host, which she is after. Okay. So, and then it also allowed me to quickly go in and make posts being like, I've got all these ladies color matched. And then my host would say, wow, okay, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so is also wanting to be matched. So it allowed us to really sort of coordinate a lot quicker. Okay, so that was one of the tweaks that I've tried, really, really love it, and it's worked a lot. The other one that I have tried, and I really liked it on the last show, and so this was a tip. I got it from doing a Zaya show. I think it's Zia or Zaya, or it's the exercise gear. Okay, one of my really big customers sells it, and so I did a class for her. So she had some cute posts that I thought, ooh, that was pretty smart. I like that one. Once in a while, girls, it's not a bad idea to be a host for somebody else. It relieves the pressure that you have, that the hosts are going through. So you have empathy and some understanding about it. And then it also gives you some tips that you pick up along the way to maybe tweak yourself. So I had tried it and actually, I'm going to mute somebody.
I got them muted, sorry.
Oh, okay. Leanne King had made a graphic off of it, and I made one for my my class this week. And so I made a second post about hosting classes because yes, there's one in the Bisley. I made a second post with the graphic I used tonight to post about the call, that really pretty pink party one. And then I made a graphic about a brush, and I was like, okay, let's get our host a free brush. And you can use whatever brush you have in your stock, so you can keep your expenses down if you've got extras from doing classes. And I said, let's get our host a free brush. Anybody that books a class in the next 3 weeks, and I have there's 3 names on the little picture. And I got 2 ladies that booked classes, and then somebody messages me this morning and said, oh my goodness, did I need to give you a date for sure so she could get the brush? And I was like, oh, let's pencil you in. Never be afraid to use the words pencil you in. It's very non-committal, but they always happen. Okay, so I got a third booking this morning because of that. So that is something else that you could try adding if you're looking a little bit short on classes. So those are a couple of the tips that I have tried. Now I want to share with you girls something. I am somebody that keeps stuff, important training stuff, as I go along. And I want to share with you some stuff because I'm encouraging you to check yourself, okay? Check yourself as you're going through this. What is happening? Don't just throw it to the wind. If you want to get better at something, master the heck out of it. So if you want to improve your show average, are you hostess coaching enough? Are you encouraging her to get people on the live? Are you encouraging her when you start that live to say, hey, Leanne, I know I just saw you popped on, girl. Can you start tagging your friends so they know we're live that really wanted to catch this? That's something I've started saying. So are you hostess coaching your ladies enough? Are you getting your host to pop and interact with people, to message them to say, what did you think of that live? Were you on it? Did you catch it? I really liked this about it, or I'm finding this about the makeup. Getting your host engaged a lot. Are you goaling your host ahead of time? Do you have a conversation when you send her the hostess coaching stuff? Are you asking her, which party level would you like to get to? Not everybody's going to answer you, but the ones that do, you know, those are your eager little beavers that are going to hustle because they have their eye on a specific level. Okay. So going through it, I've also started putting in my classes, this is where we're at, ladies. Leanne is so close to the next level. It is another order reminder for people too. Okay. And then, yeah, I also are going through and kind of giving people the extra little bit of the upsell of, do we have anything, special occasions coming along that maybe you want to get some lip conditioners for, or some brush cleaners, you know, targeting some of the stuff that they don't need. Okay. Are you not getting enough recruits off of your show? Some of the things we want to check ourselves. Are you doing a recruiting talk in your live? Are you just staying to script and going through the script, or are you doing a recruiting talk in your live? Are you dropping recruiting seeds? Do you know what recruiting seeds are? Little tidbits about your business, about like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much free product I get every month, or I can't believe they pay me and we get free makeup, or, you know, these brushes I'm using tonight, they actually came in my starter kit. Things like that. So dropping little seeds as you go throughout, and going through the following up with the people on the jot forms as well. Okay. I can post more of these to see, but my encouragement and the moral of all of this is continual self-reflect and self-analyze of, how do I get the results of what I'm exactly looking for? And don't be afraid to reach out to your leader to say, I'm really struggling with people coming on the live. What would be your tips? You know, be specific of what you're looking at, not, oh my gosh, Trace, these classes are a bust. I can't even believe I'm doing them. It's all a disaster. It's not all a disaster, right? Go through and say, okay, what do I need to tweak? Because sometimes the tiniest little tweak is tipping it over the top for you, blowing it out of the park. Okay. So Trace, let's open it up for questions. We had 3 or 4 sent in. So Tracy.
Sorry, I lost my chat because my internet kept dying. So thank goodness you were recording it on your end. So I can't see the chat history.
Oh no, I have them from the Facebook group, and then we'll see more.
Perfect.
Yeah, I thought you disappeared on me. I was like, where'd she go? Okay, so Christine Bryce sent in, and Tracy's our party queen, okay? She's our little guru because she's out there hustling. Although we've got somebody that is like, what's that gal's name? Sandy Shoe?
Jody. Oh, there's so many that are like outselling the crap out of me, which makes me so happy.
That's awesome. But Tracy's gonna chime in on some of these because she's done a boatload of Saint classes. So Christine asked us, what do you do with all of your private groups that are created for online classes. So how long are we leaving them afterwards? Are you going and cleaning them up? So far, I personally have all of mine there. I have popped back in a few times to announce like when we got new stuff, like when the brush cleaner and things like that people couldn't get. So I've kind of popped in for some stuff like that. I've also popped in when we did sales, like the Black Friday and then the Boxing Day. I've put some stuff in there. I know the algorithm maybe played with it and maybe people didn't see it, but just because people didn't purchase the first time doesn't mean that they're not still watching. And if they haven't joined your VIP group, it's just kind of a way to put some stuff in there once in a while. I do anticipate in time, I'll probably clean some up though. Trace, what are you doing?
So right now, I actually need to really spend, oh, can you hit those people in the waiting room? I need to spend a little bit of time thinking about what my next step for this is. And I'm gonna reach out to our friend Lynn, actually, who does party training, because I have a ton of groups. So what I'm wondering is if I make the host the admin and pull myself off it as admin, what happens? So that, because I always tell the customers, you'll have access to the live from this class. And so, but I do think it's important that we're doing something to at least clean it up, because I don't want to have 100 open groups on Facebook. Like that's probably not going to go well for me with my algorithm and the rules. So it's a really good question that I will find a definitive answer for here in the next couple days.
Yeah, I think, yeah, if you pull yourself off in it as an admin and your host is an admin, it'll leave her there. And
ask permission, of course. Like I'll ask if I can do that, which I don't think it would be an issue. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great question. She also had when do you stop interact? Well, okay, we just covered that. What do you do for potential leads that are not on Facebook? So I'm not, Christine, are you on here?
So I'll answer that. I know what she's asking, because like, how do they view the video? So we should all have uploaded a video of some sort and saved it like to YouTube or something, so that you've got a shareable link. So I just did one as an intro to Saint, because I have a couple people that aren't on Facebook that want to check the makeup out. And it's, I don't know, 19 minutes. And, it was 29 minutes. I edited it. So I'm talking really, really fast in the video, but I'm getting the makeup done. So, but yeah, I would say definitely have, like, if you don't have a YouTube account, it's free. And you probably should have a YouTube account, because then you can transfer, you can use Friendly. Actually, one of the new Facebook features when your live is done, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. It's like, I don't know. Facebook is so touchy these days, but you can download it right to your phone, like before you save it into Facebook, which is awesome, because then you just upload it to YouTube and you get a shareable link. So great question though, because there are a lot of people that are on Facebook.
Awesome. And can you do Zoom and Facebook lives simultaneously? Yeah, we actually were going to try that, but kind of forgot about that today. So you can, if we have this Zoom account right now, we could stream it into our Facebook Girl Gang page, so you can be in both spots. I don't know if you could do that with a free account or it has to be a paid account. Free accounts, just so you know, have a limit of how many bodies could be in the account. And then the time limit is 40, and then it gives you like a countdown, and you're going to start to panic if you're just using the free account. For most purposes, the free account will work. Just an FYI. Tips on how to get attendance for the live would be great, by Miss Leanne King. So yeah, the other thing that I wanted to start trying, and I don't know if any of you have tried, because this last class, I actually only gave away the one prize. I intended on doing more, but I didn't pop back in to do more because life happened. So I was going to do one for the live, just to be like, hey, if you're on, whoever's on the live, I'm going to do a prize there. Has anybody tried that? Trace?
No, I haven't done a live on, or a prize on the live. I think it's not a bad idea. I think you'd almost like need someone helping
I've
you
done it.
manage
I've done
it.
it, you guys.
Have you?
And how'd
How'd
it
it
go?
go? Oh yeah, you.
Yeah, it actually, I do a lot. I do a draw for the a selfie, or for the color match, which is huge. I do a draw for the live, and it does. I mean, not always, but it definitely helps. Especially, that's a good thing to mention in that welcome email or post that you do with everyone tagged. Just say if you're there in the first 5 minutes, you'll be included in a draw, because then that's going to get more people listening to that live, and that's obviously one of your most powerful tools in that class. So yeah, it works great.
Can I chime in on that real quick?
Yeah.
Of course.
I did that as well just now, and it's been my most successful class. I did Tracy's condensed version of the template, and I did the color match. It was post 4, 5, and 7. Color match, invite a friend, and I also edited a post to say, show me your makeup stash. And so those 3 posts, they got an entry into a lip and cheek giveaway, and then they had to be present on the live in order to be eligible for it. And I had everybody she invited was on the live. It's awesome.
Wow.
I love it. So it's not
Yeah.
even an extra draw. They just can't even be eligible for the prize for the post that you've designated
Exactly.
if they're not on the live.
That was my husband's idea, and it worked beautifully.
Michael is smart.
Got
See,
it.
That's how awesome it is to just like brainstorm and then try and tweak a tiny little bit, because I don't believe you have to give away like, 5 prizes or 10 prizes to have a successful class. Like, I accidentally gave away one thing. I intended on more, and it was a great class, right? So I think just tweaking tiny little bits, but I love that of being on the live. The other thing, Leanne, is that I'm getting my hosts to remind about the live as well. Not just the reminder, the 15 minutes before and the post that goes up the morning of the live, but getting that host to reach out to people to remind them. They're just more engaged with the host. And the one thing that Tracy's had a ton of success for, and I said it earlier, was the people that are the hosts that are going and putting that before and after picture of themselves, or a before and after picture if they don't have one that they want to share, and saying
Even a picture of their makeup.
a
works.
picture of their makeup and just saying like, this is what I'm doing, who wants in? Because those are validated people. Those are people that want to be there because they've asked to be there, right? They're not somebody that you drug into Facebook class and are like, how did I end up here? I don't remember even accepting this place. So that I think is also another great technique that is just a tiny little step. If you can get your host willing to do that. And the other one too that I know some of the girls are super great at, I'm doing more of it, is private messaging everybody that is in the event. Thank you so much for joining Leanne's class. Have you had a moment to check out the live? I'd love to hear your feedback, right? Very non-pressure, very not, would you like to place an order and aggressive, but messaging and reaching out. Will all of them see it? No, because you will end up in some people other box and then they don't check it. That's okay. But how nice is it to get that personal greeting from people that are just like, oh, okay, maybe I will check that out. Or no, I missed it, Desiree. I actually have no idea where it is because Facebook buried it. Can you tag me? Okay, sure. I'll tag you in that. So sometimes it's just not people. We think people, I know, and I know it because I've been there. Sometimes mentally we get these thoughts in our head that we're like, oh, nobody's interested. Nobody showed up, or 3 people showed up. And we start to self-sabotage our brains because we just didn't get the result we were looking for. So then we start telling ourselves these things that aren't true, and we kind of go down the rabbit hole. So I think just these little messages and reach outs, and then you're like, oh, wow, people just actually couldn't find it. Okay, they are interested. You start to get that confidence back of being like, oh, it is really awesome. People really did want to be there. They just couldn't find us. Okay. So self-sabotage is one of those things you really don't want to get in your own head about as you're going along. Those are
One of the other things too, I'll add quickly that I've found has been helpful is when you've color matched people, go back to post 4, or whatever the post is on your template, and tag them. Desiree, I just sent you your color match by text. Check. and see you got it. Because I actually have had a few people that have randomly received my color matches that I just, even one last week where the customer switched a number. I didn't type it in wrong. She switched the number, but I have also typed it wrong. Or if you Facebook it to them and somehow it gets put into another folder. So just tag them and say, check, should be there. Yep.
Awesome.
The answer Leanne was asking, the what else was inviting a friend.
Yeah. Invite a friend, get color matched, and 4 or 5. Yeah. And then be on the live.
Yeah,
Right?
make
Yeah.
Perfect.
Anybody else have questions around classes? Oh, wait, Rachel Bird had something. Let me go back. Rachel Bird asked a question that was, can you walk through what you do different for a personal party versus a hosted class? So personally, it's the exact same thing. So when Melanie's suggesting that, if you've been on her calls, she's saying, do your own class every month. She's suggesting that you go and hand pick new pockets of people. So maybe you work and you haven't tapped into any of the work girls, or maybe you have a golf club, or maybe your kids play hockey. So she's suggesting to go into these different groups and do the exact same thing that you're doing. Okay. There's really no other magic to it, because that's why you're looking for the new people. And we already talked about how do you give our prizes away within the party. Anybody else have questions?
Sorry, it's Rachel.
Hey.
I guess what I'm asking about your personal party and the hosted party is I can't wrap my head around like what you're saying to people, like how you're getting them to come to a party for yourself without them thinking you're just trying to get stuff for yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've stumbled across this amazing line that I've absolutely fallen in love with. I'd love for you to come have a girls' night and have a glass of wine and check it out. Like my posture doesn't change from getting you to host a class from me for people to come to the class, because I still think the line is awesome. I still think we're going to have a girls' night together and have a really great time. And I give stuff away. So it's not, definitely not about me, because we're, like most, maybe my personal classes, I might give away a little bit, something extra. Like,
I don't even think people would see it.
Because I set the precedent.
Yeah. I think that people would say, like, if you just said, like, I'm really excited to share this line. Like Rachel, typically they're probably a part of your VIP group, or they've interacted with a post you've done in the past. And so it's an easy conversation. Like, I'd love for you to kind of go through from start to beginning and get all the info. And then, but most people, I mean, it's like, hey, listen, I don't know if this is for you, but you want to check it out. It's pretty amazing. And usually they're like, yeah, I'll check it out. So it's not usually an issue.
Okay,
And then
thanks.
hopefully they invite friends. That's how you expand your reach, is when they invite friends.
So can I ask a question? Is that personal party in your VIP group or in a separate group?
I'm going to answer this one. I'll never do one in my VIP group again. I did the Valentine's one.
Okay.
In my VIP group, and I just found it was not the same. So, but someone might have had different experience. I prefer to create a new group. But yeah.
Yeah, I like to create a new group too. And those are people that if they're already in my VIP group, like that is a group that I will clean up, because they're already involved in my group, right? So yeah, I like to keep them separate too.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think ultimately cleaning up all the groups is probably the best thing, because they should all be in your VIP group. to be honest. So get them in your VIP group, clean up the old groups, and then you're free sailing. So
Jessica's talking about creating an event from your group to run a personal event. You totally can. The reason I won't is because I never want to go back to reposting all of those posts. I am obsessed with Bizly. Before in my past life, I would have to like cut, paste, and drag the pictures and redrop and schedule the posts one by one. Bizly is an incredible tool. So that's why I will do it. If you want to do the copy and paste and do them that way, that's an option for you.
well, and you can't actually run an event in the group, Jessica, and use Visly. You're right. So I don't know. I don't think that I will never do a class and not use Visly. I am all about working smarter, not harder. And I am not pre-posting all those posts when I can use it. So then I would create another one. Your launch party, Angela. So your group should have become your VIP group after your launch party. And you might be brand new actually asking this question. You are, I see. And so your launch party gets converted. Whoever does your launch comes off as the admin, you go on, and then that's your VIP group. So they're already there. And then Christine's asking, how do we get them to move from the VIP group over? There's a post in the Visly that invites them, and in your follow-up with them, you should be like sending them that group link every time until you see them in there. Every time you communicate with them, you should be inviting them into your VIP group and telling them, like, I mean, there's huge value in being in our groups, right? And like different draws and incentives that you might do, and just seeing you go live consistently is the key. So
yeah,
I hope that helps.
and I think too, like the one thing that I found is a lot of ladies that I don't know, maybe it's just my groups I'm in right now, is that a ton of them keep private messaging me on Facebook, even though they did the job form for their color match and whatnot. Lots of them just really like to private message me on Facebook. So then this class and the last couple I've started, besides the thank you email that goes out like, hey, thanks so much, I got it all in, and here's the link. So I'm popping it in Messenger too, the link to my group when I'm engaging with them, because then they're really inclined to just go, oh, click, right? Because sometimes it's not a matter of not wanting to join the group, you guys. Facebook is like a beast of itself, and they might never see that post that to join the group, right? So, I think that's one way to do it. You can also get the host to, tell the gals that were in the class that in order to be like, the host can invite them because they're already in your group, right? So they can also invite them to add them to your group. That's another way to do it. So your host is your like best friend, gals, and you make, like, once they have successful classes, is then they'll either be your host for life, or they're like, wow, this was way too much fun and I love it, and they're your next partner. So
that's right. And when Desiree talked about doing a follow-up inbox message or text to every single person, whether they ordered or not, this is the perfect opportunity to send that link again, because then that's just one more reason to contact them and say, like, listen, I know you didn't purchase, and that's totally fine. I'm happy you were here. But if you join my group, you can watch, and maybe there's a better time that it will work for you. And at some point you might decide you want to move forward. So just chill, nonchalant, and yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up. I have one question before Trace wraps it up for you. Is this helpful for training format where we can have question and answer and kind of dig a little bit deeper than just more of an overview? I see one person nodding their head yes.
I just had one more, not a comment or not a question, but a comment. I just think it'd be helpful if we had a post in the Girl Gang just for like booking tips or party tips or whatever, and then people could just, as they're doing things that they're getting good engagement or that they think are working, could just drop them in the comments, and then we can just go back and search like party or booking, and it'll bring that post back up.
So we are on it. So Becky does Tip Tuesday, and she has started to dive down on the Tip Tuesday. Before, they were originally more like generic about, hey, what's your hot tip? And now they're going to be dialed down to be like Tell us your hot tip on hostess coaching. Tell us your hot tip on maxing out people at the lives. Tell us your hot tip. So that's exactly the direction that we're headed.
Perfect. Thank you. And Des, can you share your tracking sheet with us?
Yes, for you paper people like me, I will
I'm-
share away.
Thank you.
And
Perfect.
feel free to tweak and evolve it. And like I said, ladies, I strongly encourage you to make a checklist for keeping yourself on track for like your tips for a successful show. So like I said, am I when I get on that live telling the host to tag her friends? Like make yourself these little checklists just to kind of go through it, because that's what will make you up your game for you, not for anybody else, but for you and your host. Because like I said, when you have those huge shows for your host, that is your best advertisement out there. You want people to love this makeup. You want your business to boom. Crush those classes, hostess coach those ladies, and they will be the best advertisement you have going on. All right. So Trace has a couple reminders, but thank you for tuning in tonight, ladies. And if you have questions, just let us know.
Awesome. Awesome. I missed a good chunk of it, Des, because like I said, my internet, so I'll be going back and watching the playback, but thank you so much. And I love the question and answer format of this. It just lets everyone come and get those burning questions answered. Okay. So tomorrow night is the, I just looked at the name, Over the Rainbow event with Team Destiny. So this month we're doing a combined event with Team Destiny for the team. And actually Desiree is one of the lives. We have two. Do we have two in the girl gang
Yes,
that are doing lives?
Stacy.
Awesome. Yes, Stacy's doing an eye look. So that's awesome. So it's at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, and 6 Pacific. And it'll be every 10 to 12 minutes, there's a new live that'll go. And quick question, can you please go into the color match group and delete your posts that have already been done? If you've color matched people and it's a done deal, let's go and clean up that group. It's very hard for us to sift down. And I just have to give you guys all a shout out. I am so impressed with how many people are commenting and helping each other in that group. I love you all for helping. It is so amazing because we can't do it all ourselves. There's too many of you now. So thank you. We so appreciate you. Hope you guys all have an amazing week. And we will see you again here next Monday, same time, same number, same everything. So thanks everyone. Have an amazing week. Love you all.
Bye.